Supervisor Ronen, thank you for joining us. Obviously, the big story right now is the closure of the public plaza by the BART station on 24th and Mission. You noted in a tweet thread that you didn't want to close the BART plaza, but the problem became, quote, untenable and caused problems for the whole neighborhood. This is obviously one of the busiest areas in the city, and it's being closed halfway through summer. A lot of people want to know who made this final call to close the plaza.
I did, or I should say I made the request of BART to do it. The BART Plaza has become sort of the central sort of space where vendors were selling or are selling stolen goods. It just became untenable from the standpoint of safety, untenable from the standpoint of just people trying to use the street, the bus stop, the BART station.
I used to live on 24th and Folsom Streets and use that station every day. And to me, and I think a lot of people, it is pretty astounding that one of the most trafficked areas, one of the most vibrant spaces in all of San Francisco would be shut down because people are selling Levi's and Advil and deodorant illegally.
I'm just wondering, when's the last time you were there?
About a week ago.
And what was it like?
There was a lot of people there. It was very busy. There was a lot of music. There's people selling food. I didn't feel unsafe, but maybe that's just me.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm getting daily constant complaints. And these are from long-term residents of the Mission, from parents with kids, from seniors, from the merchants that have their businesses right around there. They're immigrant-owned businesses. They're barely able to survive. And I talk to those businesses. We've been talking to the neighbors. We've been doing outreach to the vendors so that they know what to expect. And they're all thrilled that this has happened.
Is this a slippery slope? I mean, you've closed off now to, one of the most important blocks really in the entire city. And you're talking about closing off another one at 16th and Mission. And this is
going to see what happens there.
This is just pushing vendors who still continue to need to be able to make a living, and also taking away public spaces from people who want to get out and enjoy the summer when obviously we're still in a pandemic. So I guess the question is just like, have you thought about, maybe some unintended consequences that are going to come out of this potentially if you have to continue to just close down just public property?
Yes. I mean, yes, of course. And we're trying to use multiple strategies in a thoughtful way that doesn't criminalize people that are doing something selling stolen goods because they live in poverty and don't have access to other jobs, while going after the people that are being the exploiters of those people and are doing the threats and the extortion. So that's the judgment call that I'm making. You might disagree with that judgment call. That's the judgment call that I'm making.
When it comes to public spaces, an elected official being able to unilaterally close them is something that could be concerning to a lot of people.
100%. And believe me, I am a huge proponent of public spaces. This is a last resort. My back is against the wall. I am scared for the safety of nonprofit workers, of community members, of merchants, and it's a temporary interruption of a situation that's gotten out of control. I do not want the Mission to become another Tenderloin. And believe me, I have a lot of suspicions that because of the increased enforcement in the Tenderloin, that's one of the causes perhaps why there's so much of this activity now. All of a sudden at 24th Street, I think that the increased emphasis on the Tenderloin is very necessary. I don't want anybody to live in these conditions. But I'm just saying that I have noticed an uptick. I felt like if we let things get too bad, then it's going to be that much harder to fix it later on. And a temporary inconvenience for a couple months is better than permanently losing the space, to an atmosphere that, trust me, no one wants to hang out in.